Hi friends, welcome back to my kitchen. Welcome if you are new. I'm Cheryl. This is Table Full of Joy. And friends, I got an exciting recipe for you guys today. I've been looking at this recipe on my Pinterest now for probably a year. And it's time for me to finally make these. I'm excited to have these in the morning with some coffee. We're also going to make another batch of my pumpkin spice creamer that I made a week or so ago. We finally finished that this morning and we're ready for another batch. So I need to get both these made because I want to have these amazing apple fritters for breakfast in the morning with our coffee during our devotion time together. These are not your traditional apple fritters. I am not air frying. I'm not frying anything. I'm not a fan of, I'm just not a big donut fan. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the oil, the residue on the roof of your mouth. It's just not my thing. So these are a baked apple fritter. Perfect for anybody if you don't have a deep fryer. These are amazing. So we're gonna get these made and I'm excited about this. Only simple ingredients, nothing super hard. The one change I'm making to this recipe is the recipe calls for 3/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour and 3/4 of a cup of whole wheat flour. I don't do whole wheat flour. I never have it in my house. So I'm just gonna substitute all-purpose for the entire amount. I'm sure it's gonna be fine. So let's get these made because I still have dinner to make later. So we need to get these done. In our bowl right here, we're gonna start off with 1.5 cups of just all-purpose flour. There's 1 cup. There's our half. So we're gonna mix all of our dry ingredients together. So we have 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder. I am in the middle of Pantry Challenge. If you guys are new to my channel, I've been doing a Pantry Challenge for the last month and I am out of fresh cinnamon, or out of cinnamon. I don't have any cinnamon in my house right now at all. So I am gonna have to do a substitute for this. I need 1/2 teaspoon of allspice. I think that's gonna work right there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually just gonna grate a cinnamon stick. I think it's gonna work fine. I did it yesterday and it worked out perfect. Wasn't a big deal. I definitely had the good cinnamon flavor. That's what I want. So I've just got my zester and I'm just gonna grate this cinnamon stick right in here to get the amount of cinnamon that I need. Wow, that smells amazing. All right, I think we're gonna call that good. We also need 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We're gonna whisk these all together and then we're gonna put our butter in here. We're gonna cut our butter in. It's just like making pastry is what this reminds me of. So I've got my whisk. I'm just gonna whisk all of these things together real quick just to get them all incorporated nice and combined. Then I need 6 tablespoons of butter and you want it to be cold butter. My butter just came out of my refrigerator so it is nice and cold. So we're gonna count off 6 tablespoons. And we're gonna cut these up into small pieces so that we can cut these in with our pastry blender. If you don't have a pastry blender, you can do this with a fork. You can do this with a fork and a knife. You can do it with your fingers. You can, but I wouldn't recommend it because you're gonna get your butter nice and soft because of the heat from your hands. And you want your butter to be nice and cold. That's the easiest way to get it cut into your pastry. And also if you're trying to do this, you want your butter to expand your dough. That's part of the reason why we have butter cold when we're baking in like biscuits and pie crust and those kinds of things, because as the butter melts in the dish while it's baking, it's releasing steam and that's giving you that nice and fluffy and airy texture. So we're just going to cut this in really quick. Shouldn't take too long. These are super quick, super easy. That's why I was excited to try these. My husband is going to love these in the morning. He's going to be so excited to have these. for a sweet little treat with our coffee. My husband and I do prayer and devotion time every morning together at 5:30 in the morning before he leaves for work. And so we like to have some coffee. I typically fast in the mornings, but my husband does not, so he will end up having one of these with his coffee in the morning. He's been eating our pumpkin baked oatmeal that we made last week. If you missed that video, I'll leave a link in the description box for that video. He has really been enjoying that baked oatmeal. It heats up in the microwave, amazing, and we just put he likes just a little bit of cream, heavy cream on it, and it's just super good. All right, in this cup right here, we're gonna put in our half a cup of milk. I'm out of milk in my house right now, but I'm using half and half, and that should be fine. We need a little bit of vanilla, about a teaspoon, and 1 egg. I saved my whisk so that I could whip these up. And then we're gonna mix this directly into our flour mixture. The last ingredient that goes in these is your apples. And then that is it. That's all that goes into these baked apple fritters. So I want to give these a stir real quick before I add my apples. I've got 2 Granny Smith apples over here that I got on the clearance section at our local Fred Meyer Kroger store, and they are on their last leg, so they need to be used. And so this was a perfect recipe to use up those apples so they don't end up going bad. They're starting to get just a tiny bit soft. So typically I leave the peel on my apples when I do apple things because we like the peel on it, but I'm not going to for these because I don't know what the apple peel is going to do to these apple fritters. So I'm just going to go ahead and peel these apples real quick, and then we're going to dice them. We're just going to give these a quick dice. I'm just going to cut them as close to the core as I can. And I'll go ahead and take out the little core piece that's on these. I can definitely smell them. They smell amazing. They're still has a good apple smell to them, but they are definitely on their last leg here. They had to be used within the next day or so, or they were definitely going to go bad. And we are in Pantry Challenge, friends. We are trying not to waste anything. We are trying to use absolutely everything we have in our pantry, fridge, freezers, all the things. So you want these a fairly small dice. No super big chunks of apple. All right, so here is our apple fritter batter. We're just gonna fold these apples into our batter. We might have too many apples, but that's all right. It's gonna be fine. So we have our oven preheated to 400 degrees. We're gonna scoop these out and cook these for about 12 to 15 minutes. So I've got my scoop, which that's what I'm gonna use to scoop these out. And I'm gonna do hefty scoops. So these are gonna bake, and then they're gonna go into the broiler for just a couple of minutes. And that's what's gonna give us that nice and crunchy texture that you're gonna get from a traditional apple fritter. We're gonna make a batch of our homemade pumpkin spice creamer. I made this a week or so ago, and as I told you guys, I am not a huge fan of these store-bought pumpkin spice creamers, they give me horrible heartburn. Just awful heartburn. So I make my own. This way I can control the spices that are in it. I can control how sweet it is. And I also don't have all the chemicals that they put in store-bought creamers, which are not good for you. So I like to put mine in, do my own ingredients. So this was 1 cup of heavy cream, 1 cup of half and half. And you can adjust this to whatever your preference is. I'm using maple syrup as our sweetener. You could use honey, you could use brown sugar, you could use regular sugar. I've used all of it. I just prefer the maple syrup. And I put about 2 tablespoons in there. I don't want it super, super sweet, but I do want it a little bit sweet. We're gonna put in some pumpkin pie spice. I'm gonna take the lid off. I'm gonna put about, I think I usually put about 2.5 teaspoons in here. And I'm gonna put about 6 tablespoons of canned pumpkin. You want canned pure pumpkin, not pumpkin pie filling. Pumpkin pie filling is going to have egg in it. It's gonna have all kinds of things. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I like it to have a really strong pumpkin flavor to it. If you don't want it quite as strong, the original recipe calls for 4 tablespoons of pumpkin. I like it more on the pumpkin side, so I'm okay with adding extra pumpkin to it. But like I said, you make it to how you, that's the nice thing about making the creamers yourself at home, is you get to control what goes in it. If you want more pumpkin, use more pumpkin. If you want more spice, use more spice. If you don't want it super sweet, then control the sugar that you put in and what kind of sugar you put in your creamer. But I think this is gonna be incredible. So this just sits over here on the stove. It's gonna heat up on a pretty low heat, probably medium low. We don't wanna boil it. We're not trying to, you know, boil the cream or anything like that. We're just trying to heat this, trying to bloom the spices that are in here, and just let all those flavors come together. We have a little bit of pumpkin left over, and I will save that for another batch because I'll have to make another batch probably next week, if not sooner, because my husband has decided he likes this creamer. So he's been drinking it with me in the mornings. I think this creamer is going to be incredible with our apple fritters tomorrow. Is going to be amazing. I may have to break my fast and have one of those apple fritters in the morning with my coffee. So we're just going to let this sit on the stove and heat up slowly. All right, our fritters just came out of the oven. We're gonna brush a little bit of our glaze, just powdered sugar and water. We're gonna brush this on our fritters, and then they're gonna go into the broiler just for a couple of minutes. You're just wanting to kind of brown the tops and get that powdered sugar kind of melted into the top of these. They look really good. I'm gonna save a little bit of the glaze to put on top of them when they come out of the broiler too, just for a little extra. All right, we're gonna put these under the broiler and just for a couple of minutes. Here are our beautiful apple fritters. They look incredible. We've got our creamer here, it's done. We're just gonna let this hang out on the stove until it completely cools, and then I've got some little bottles that I'm gonna put it in. Sorry. I have these little bottles right back here. I bought half and half and cream in them years and years ago, and they are perfect for storing my coffee creamer because they're easy to pour through. But these look incredible, friends. Look at those. Absolutely incredible. Hubby is going to be so excited with those. So friends, thank you guys so much for joining me in my kitchen as we made another batch of our delicious pumpkin creamer. Made some delicious little treats to have with our coffee and our devotion time in the morning that we do at 5:30 a.m. every single morning. So we look forward to it. I love having a little sweet treat or something for my husband to have with his coffee in the morning. So friends, it means so much to me that you guys take time out of your day to come and spend time with me, seeing what I'm doing in my kitchen, see what I'm cooking, Come hang out with me. I got so many fun things coming in your direction this fall and into this winter. So many fun things that I want to try and learn, new skills, new ingredients, new things. And so I hope you guys will subscribe if you haven't. Hit that notification bell so you're notified every time we upload a video. And friends, I know your time is valuable, and it means a lot to me that you take that time and come and hang out with me in my kitchen and see what I'm doing. I love that we get to hang out together. I hope you guys will come back, and we can hang out again. And we'll talk to you in the comments, friends. Have a great day, and God bless.